My name is Jamie Leigh, and this is Jamie Leigh Art. And here on my channel, I talk about art. I talk about art and true crime and paranormal. I demonstrate painting and lightbox drawing. And I also have been doing some other fun craft items like building a book nook, doing some gothic dollhouse building, and trying out some do-it-yourself craft kits from Michael's store this Halloween spooky season in 2025. This week is Halloween week, and so far I've done a diamond painting of a raven, and I have done a paint by numbers of a cute spooky little ghost. Today's project is going to be this. It's called a Diorama kit, and it's done by Make Market, which is the Michael's in-store brand, I believe. They have a lot of craft and do-it-yourself kits that are specifically focused around spooky season this year. I found I don't think they really had that much last year, unless I'm remembering wrong, but I was shopping for Halloween things this past summer, which now that I say it out loud sounds crazy, but it's true. And I'm a spooky girl, so that was fine with me. I got to get all my stuff a little bit early and have time to film some videos about making stuff and make some things for the art fair that I just did this past weekend. So as a person who does art and craft items that are centered around spooky themes, that worked out perfectly for me. But when I was shopping in the Michael's store, I found that they had a lot of different craft kits available this year. Paint by numbers kits, diamond kits, building kits like this diorama or book nook or that kind of thing, just a wide variety. And this was one that I saw very early in the season. And in fact, the next time I went back to Michael's after I purchased this one, the end cap where these were was something else entirely, and I couldn't find any more of these in the store. So I don't know if they were super popular or if maybe they took them down and put something else there. I don't know. I do know that they were available on the website after that. So maybe they were just really popular. But this is an Apothecary kit, and it looks to me to be very similar in vein to the book nook kits that I've done. But I thought it would be fun to try it out here on this channel to tell you about, was it easy or fun to put together? Were there any issues that I had with putting it together? Is there anything I would recommend that you do or do different? That sort of thing. So today we're going to put this Apothecary shop together. It is raining outside. It is gloomy. It is cold. I have my hot coffee. This one is a blackberry brown sugar, in case you're wondering. It's a latte. And we are ready to get started making this kit. If you find videos like this fun and interesting, or if you're interested in art, paranormal and art, true crime and art, weird tales from histories and art, any sort of thing like that, lightbox drawing, painting, etc., then I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. And even though this is the week of Halloween, I will continue to do some of these kits after Halloween, because even though they are spooky themed, so am I. So it's a year-round thing. All right, with all of that said, we're going to jump into working on this. So this is the box it came in. On the back, all it says is the finished size, so the actual diorama that we'll be making will end up being 8.4 inches by 5 inches by 6.9 inches. And it says the contents of this box are plywood, paper, accessories, glue, tweezers, sandpaper, and instruction booklet. Already looking at that list, probably not going to use their glue. We'll see what it looks like. But I do tend to use either hot glue or super glue when I put together kits that are like this. So the first thing you pull out is a baggie, and it looks like it has all of like the little accessories in that baggie. And then here are the tools. So there's tweezers, sandpaper, and this is their glue. It almost looks like, I don't know, Elmer's school glue. Yeah, probably not going to use that. Okay, this is the biggest thing in here. So this is a package, and it looks like it's all of the pieces that we're going to be putting together to build the shop and the things inside the shop. And then this is what's left in there. So we have the instruction booklet, and it looks like, yeah, it looks like this is similar to every like book note kit that I've done. It gives you like all of the items included, and then a step-by-step how to put the kit together included with pictures. So there's that. I don't know what these are. So it says these are the parts that are included, but it's like a full size like picture of all the parts. That's interesting. I don't know why they have that. And here's another page that's the same. Maybe it'll explain that in the instruction book. I'm not sure. And then this looks to be like stickers or all of the paper items that you would need to put this together. So the main thing is going to be using these to get your pieces for putting together the structure and the items inside. I'm assuming like shelving and tables or whatever. So yeah, these are pieces of like, what is that? Like thin balsa wood is usually what they are. And then you just punch out the pieces that you need as the instructions call for them. This will be very similar to the book note kit that I did. If you're interested in watching me build a haunted mansion horror themed book note, I'll put the link to it up there so you can go watch that. And it is a bit of a longer one because it took quite a while to put that whole thing together. But if you're interested in book nooks and you want to know how to do it, that's a good one. So we have all of these items in this bag, and we have look really thick. I wonder if some of them are like inside and outside. If you're wondering, I don't know if you can see her, but Stella is, there she is. Stella is sitting behind me once again. So if you hear snoring, there's not much I can do about it. Now she's like doing all kinds of stuff there. There she is. Hi, Stella. I was just looking in here. Oh yeah. See, some of these are like super thick, and some of them are like more normal thin. As I drop it on the floor. See, this is thin as compared to this right here. So I wonder if like this is the inside stuff and this maybe is the outside of the structure. That might make sense. So we are going to be putting this kit together, and I hope you're going to have fun following along. And if you want to do something like this on your own, like I said, couldn't find any more of these in the store, but there might still be some on the website. It is the week of Halloween. Like as I'm doing this, Halloween is on Friday and this is Tuesday. So may have to wait till next year to see if they do the same thing again, or they might have other ones for different, you know, seasons or whatever. But anyway, like I said, this is Make Market, which is the same brand as the other two projects that I've worked on. It is the Michaels in-house brand, I believe, and they have been going rampant with all of these DIY craft kits, especially spooky themed ones, skeletons and ravens and coffins and all the fun stuff that I love. They even had scratch kits where you scratched and it revealed like gold foil or whatever. All right, so that is it for the beginning of, you know, figuring out what we've got, and now it's time to get started building this kit. So I'll tell you the first thing I've noticed. The first thing you do is it has you punch out the books from this piece, and then you cover them in the little book covers with, I use super glue. Because this is so thick, these are really hard to get out of here. So that one, I guess this, so it looks like the bigger size is going to be a little bit easier, but these small size ones were really hard to get out. It does say in the directions that you can use a craft knife to cut the connection points on pieces that are hard to punch out. So for these small book ones, you may need to do that, and you may need to keep the knife around for other smaller parts if it's in this thick piece of wood as opposed to the thinner ones. So that was the first thing I noticed, is that the little books were extremely hard to punch out. So here's the second thing I noticed on the little books that it's having us put together. Some of them, the covers fit perfectly. Like it covers the entire front and back. And then some of them, it doesn't cover the whole book. And I think there's only one or two on the smaller books, but on these bigger books, there's several of them. Like if they're going to be put on a bookshelf where it's just this that you're going to see, that's not going to matter. One thing I did realize about the books as I kept working was there was a couple of them that seemed thicker, so that might explain some of the papers not fitting exactly correct, but I don't think all of them were like that. So I don't know. Maybe it was a mess up on my part. Maybe it was a little bit of both. Some of the papers just don't fit exactly, and I didn't put the right covers on the right thickness books, but it really was not easy to tell once I had all the books punched out which books were which. That's just something to watch out for, I guess, is if you do something like this, just check and see that you're covering the right pieces of wood as books, I guess. And once you have them all punched out, you really can't tell. I finished all of the books. That is a lot of books, as you could see. So that was quite a bit of bookmaking, I guess. I was kind of looking at this picture. Are there really that many books? I guess, because some of them are stacked up. And there's quite a bit here on the shelf. So, oh, and there's some back there. A lot of books. So that part is done, and now I will move all those and we will go to the next thing. You're making a suitcase, a stool, the bat picture, and wall decor. So those are the items we'll be doing next. Also, since he's right here, I figured I would introduce you to our newest Frenchie. I talked about him in the last video where I did the ghost painting with the little Frenchie. I changed the cat into the Frenchie, but Poe is at my feet, so I figured I would bring him up here real quick. This is Edgar Allan Poe. We call him Potato, and he's a very good boy. He's a very good boy. Yes. He is our rescue Frenchie, and we've had him for about a month now. And he is the sweetest. He's the sweetest, goodest boy, aren't you, Poe? As the fur flies everywhere. Yes, he is a good, good boy. Oh my goodness. He is a big boy. Yes. Potato. Are you a good boy? Yes, you are a good boy. Aw. So I made the stool, the suitcase, the bat, and this decoration. It shows cabinet 1, cabinet 2, and cabinet 3. And then it shows in the pictures what items are going to go on each cabinet and how they're going to be placed. So, time to build some cabinets. The cabinets are actually pretty straightforward. You just click the tabs in together and they hold themselves once you've clicked them into place. You don't have to glue the cabinet itself, so they're pretty easy to put together. The tabs, I really had to like reef on them to get them to snap together, but not too much so that I didn't break the tabs. So there's that. Some kits are different and you can click the items together very smoothly. This was a little bit more difficult and I was worried about pushing too hard and breaking them. So do watch out for that. And then what I decided to do is I would build the cabinet and then I would put the items on that it suggested, how it suggested. So that's why you see me build a cabinet, put the stuff on it from the accessories bag, etc. I found that to be easy to do. I glued everything down with my super glue and I found that worked really well. I didn't really test out their glue that they gave, so if you were wondering about it, I'm sorry, that's my bad. But I've done so many kits like this that I've never liked the glue that came with them, so that was just me. One thing I did note for this kit in particular is they give 3 different sizes of book, like I was saying in the beginning, and then when you do the shelves, it gives you which books go on which shelves. But because they're all the same, like there's only like 3 different book covers, I guess, a blue, a white, and a red or something like that. It made it hard to know which books go where, so I just kind of guessed and put books where I thought they might fit the best. And it does say place items at basically your discretion, so you don't have to follow what they say. But I did notice that I was like, I don't know what books that is. I don't know if it's the big ones, the small ones. Some of them it made it hard to tell. And you have to place a bunch of books in some of them. So that was just one thing I noted, is that I was just like, nah, we'll just put them wherever. And I mean, that works out fine. You don't have to follow the kit exactly. As you'll see at the end of this video, when I completely go off the rails and do my own thing, but I just can't help myself. So that was one thing I noted about the books. Once the cabinets are built, it has you go ahead and build the structure, which is the outside part of the kit. And like I had said before, the thicker pieces are the outside. So that's nice, because when this thing is put together, it's very sturdy. So it has you take the paper that it had and put the paper on the floor, the walls, and the outside. The floor is like a simulated wooden floor. The walls are kind of just like maybe like wallpaper or stone looking, and then the outside is stone, like blocks. So it looks like it's an old stone cottage, basically. It has you do this apothecary sign on the little hanger here that goes in the front of the kit, and they give you chain that goes with the kit to hang it, and I struggled with this chain a lot, and finally I just gave up because I couldn't get it to go through and click back together like you're supposed to pinch one of the links back together. It just wasn't working out, and so I just switched and did my own thing there. So I don't know, that may be an issue for some people. It was for me, and I just was like, nah, I'll just use my own chain, and that worked out. Okay, so it's the next day. We have gotten to this point right here. And so I am going to make some modifications. I've decided, since I've kind of been working on it and thinking about it. First things first, as you saw, I struggled very much with the chain that they give you for the hanging the sign. So I grabbed some chain that I have that's similar. It's not black, but it still matches the vibe, and cut it into a longer length and use that instead. And it was much easier. So that might be an issue for people that are just stuck with using this chain here, because it is not easy to hook it through and clasp it the way they want you to. The other thing is the outside and inside, like these right here, this is just regular paper with stuff printed on it. What I'm going to do when I get it all glued in place is I'm going to Mod Podge over all of it so it'll seal the paper, and that will help keep it from getting scratched or torn, I feel like. So I'm going to put a layer of Mod Podge on the floor and the walls and the outside walls after I finish. Plus I've decided, since I do mixed media, I have a lot of trinkets, I guess you call them. And so I'm gonna go, after I get everything in place, look through my stash of stuff and add a little bit to the final product, just because I can. I mean, that's really the only reason why. But I feel like it would be kind of cool to have like some moss around the front of the shop, and then there's empty space on a lot of the shelves. So I feel like I could fill it with stuff that I have. That would look cool. So at the end, I'll be going back with my own stash of stuff and putting some more things in there to kind of liven it up a bit, add to it, I guess. So that is all. We are going to be putting the paper on the outside, and then I guess we're going to be completing the roof and then adding the final touches. So that's all that's left. I've probably, like I said, this is the second day. I started last night, so overall I've probably worked on it a couple hours, 2 to 3 hours maybe, to give you a time of like how long it might take. And some of that was fighting with certain things like that chain and stuff. And I took a lot of breaks to do other stuff, so it wasn't like a consistent. I came back to it and go do other things. And so I'd say total focus time was probably around 2 to 3 hours.
Perfect.
The way they have you do the roof is interesting. So you put down the flat panels that are already there, And then it gives you these almost like it would be a shingle style roof. And then they give you these strips of adhesive that you put on the back of each strip of shingles. And then you're supposed to stack, I think it was 4 on each side to make it look like the sides are shingled. I put them in place before removing the double side of the adhesive to stick it down to the roof itself, because it doesn't give you an exact of where to place them. So I wanted to make it look pretty even, and in order to do that I had to figure out where they start, because you have to start at the bottom and go up to the top. You can't go the other way. So I just wanted to make sure that it looked right, and so that's what I did there, is I fit it kind of with the adhesive still on, and then I removed the adhesive and put the pieces on, and it ended up looking pretty good, so that worked out. Here is the situation that we've got going on at the moment. Let me show you what it looks like. So as I said, I pulled out some of my stuff, and I always pull out more than I need so I can see, you know, what things will look like, how it will fit, all of that. So there's way more stuff than I will need to put in the Apothecary kit, but I wanted to add my own thing, so that's what we're doing at the moment. I'm gonna figure out what might work, and I think I might rearrange like their setup of the shelves that they give you a little bit too. We'll see. So that's what we're working on right now. As you can see, I did end up changing the layout from what they showed. They had the 3 cabinets that I built along the back wall, and the whole front was pretty much open, but I wanted to add more stuff to it, so I rearranged things. I took the stacked cabinet that they gave and I made it as 2 pieces instead of just the stacked, and then I put that at the outer edge. I had some items of my own, so I put those along the front, so it's more like you walk into it and there's items along both sides. And here is what it looks like finished. I personally am really happy with how it turned out. The pros were that this is a fairly simple kit. The cons are that you kind of have to mess around with some of the stuff, and so you just kind of have to test it out as you go along to build it, I guess. But that is all for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you're looking forward to some more trying out craft stuff like this after Halloween. But this is the completed Apothecary with my extra stuff added, and I thank you for hanging out with me today, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.